So one of the questions I get a ton is how many insurance companies should I credential with? And like many things in the world of insurance, unfortunately, that response is somewhat nuanced because you can be credentialed with five insurance companies, have a completely booked schedule, but still not be making the money you expected. Because essentially, you being in network was never the goal, right? Getting paid correctly is ultimately the goal of being in network with any insurance company. For those of you guys don't know me, I'm Amy Plano. I'm the reimbursement dietitian. And I help thousands of dietitians each year get credentialed, build the shit out of insurance, and make the money they deserve. And I also happen to run a billing software for registered dietitians that I created. And so I see this all the time. The dietitian does everything they were told to do, right? They get credentialed, they start seeing patients, and they submit claims. Bueno, bueno, bueno. But then they look at their bank account and they say, wait, where the heck is the money, right? So by the end of this video, I promise you guys are going to understand the difference between simply being in network with a shit ton of insurance companies and actually running a profitable insurance-based practice, which is what I want for all registered dietitians billing insurance. So we're going to go over three things that I think I need you guys to know. Number one, we need to stop confusing your contracts with revenue. We need to learn each payer's rules. And then we need to manage your billing like a boss. And we're going to talk about that. So, the big thing I see registered dietitians stumbling upon is they confuse having contracts with revenue, right? And so I see this every day. Dietitians are like, I'm in network with X, Y, and Z, but I'm making no money and I'm seeing a shit ton of patients. But the reality, unfortunately, as I've said in other videos, is getting credentialed like gets you into the show. It's permission to bill, but it does not guarantee in any shape or form that you're billing correctly, coding correctly, or collecting everything that you're owed, right? And so it's kind of like being like the credentialing kind of component is like a gateway drug to hopefully getting paid, but it does not equal the same thing. So it doesn't mean like the more contracts you have, the more money you're going to make. It simply means, which is important, the more contracts you have, the more potential money you have to make because you're diversifying who can receive your services. So, but number one, we need to stop confusing contracts, with revenue, right? The other big piece, and I know I probably say this in every single video that I present to you guys, and I know nobody wants to hear this, but you need to learn each payer's rules, right? Hate to be a Debbie Downer, but when you sign your contract, it is your fiduciary responsibility, whether or not you want to admit it or not, that you need to know how to bill each insurance company, right? So each insurance company has different requirements, different covered codes, different documentation expectations. You probably didn't know that one, as well as different claim rules. So I see this a ton and I understand why, but a lot of you guys get first credentialed with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and maybe in your state, you kind of get away with murder, right? You can bill a shit ton of visits, unlimited visits with Z71.3, right? Then you're like, hey, cool. I have a contract with UHC. I have a patients with UHC. I've been billing this shit out of Blue Cross Blue Shield using a Z code. I'm going to do the same thing for UHC, right? And probably what happens, right? The claim comes back. It's either getting applied towards the deductible, or the patient has some type of cost share, right? Because the way that we bill UHC as registered dietitians is entirely different than the way we bill Blue Cross Blue Shield products. And so while it is by no means rocket science, and so much to the effect that I created a cheat sheet for you guys. If you go over to Reimbursement Dietitian and you go to my store, I literally have the cheat code for every single of the major insurance companies, how to bill them. But the reality is each one wants something different. And I know that is annoying, but you can do hard things. And especially if you have my cheat sheet, you got this shit, right? The last piece, and I know this has been kind of single-handedly one of the hardest things for me to conceptualize, is managing my billing like a business owner. And if I go back to way back when I started this about 20 years ago, like there were no words to describe my bookkeeping capacity when it came to submitting claims. In the very beginning, it was just me. And so I kind of had the mindset like, I'm just going to get the claims in. Like, I had no idea how to track them. I had no idea if I was getting paid. I had no idea what my fee schedules were. So like I said, the most successful insurance-based dietitians are not the ones with the most contracts, right? They are simply the ones that they know what they're billing for and they're getting paid, right? And then when something goes wrong, which it will, no matter if you're seasoned like me or you're brand new, something's going to go wrong, you have the whereabouts on how to fix it. And I think it's just not a matter of if something goes wrong, it's when something goes wrong, right? So it's important that you set yourself up with strategy in terms of billing, right? So it's really important that you have some type of system in place as a business owner on how to follow up with claims that were submitted, how to charge copays, how to read EOBs. So those are the things, right? So number one, we need to stop confusing the fact that you have contracts with revenue, right? The more contracts you have does not necessarily imply you'll be making more money. Secondly, I know once again, no one wants to hear this. Each insurance payer for dietitians has entirely different rules in terms of how we need to build them. The cool thing is there's only four major ones and then Medicare. So you only need to learn the playbook for four. And most of you guys aren't billing Medicare, even though I hope you would. So four rules, right? The four players rule books. And if you need it, I have the playbook, reimbursement, dietitian.com. Go to my store, click on the cheat sheet. And the third piece, you got to manage your billing like a business owner. It took me many years to kind of step into that role because I was literally like throwing a whole bunch of shit at the wall and hoping something stuck. And when nothing was sticking and the bank account was low, was when I started to put systems in place. So the moral of today's story is more insurance panels are not the answer. I love more insurance panels because it increases the impact you have as a registered dietitian and diversifies who can receive your services. The more important piece is knowing how to maximize the ones that you currently have. Inside level two of my reimbursement academy, the Claim Crushers Club, I teach dietitians just like you how to understand their claims, fix all of your billing mistakes, and turn insurance into a predictable revenue stream. Every single time I submit a claim in my practice, I submit it with like 100% certainty, knowing exactly how it's going to play out. I can look at the insurance card, know exactly what we're seeing the patient for, and determine before we even do a VOB, generally not on the phone because we can't get through on the phone, but through the portal, I can tell you exactly how the claim is going to pay out. Jack Saruni. So hopefully that excites you and gives you some insight in terms of how we can help. Jax, come over here. Say hi to the people. There you go. Be quiet. And I do videos just like this every single week on hot topics that you guys are struggling with. So if you liked what I had to say today, either click on the link below and go check out the Claim Crushers Club, where I can almost guarantee the money you pay each month will give itself back in terms of dividends, or click the subscribe button below because you don't want to miss out on videos like this. You don't want to miss out on the Jackson Rooney barking his little head off. So I'll see you guys here next week.